Hi, Erik Linask here in the TMC Newsroom, coming to you from San Jose, California. And I'm talking today with Brocade's Keith Stewart. Keith, welcome. Thank you for joining me.
I'm glad to be here.
So a couple of different points that we want to touch on today. Why don't we start on what's going on in the data centers with regard to Ethernet fabric?
Great question. We've been spending a lot of time on next generation data center architectures, the move towards cloud optimized networking, and we believe this needs a new category of solution, something we call an Ethernet fabric. And I think the key insight here is as we've moved towards these highly virtualized, highly dynamic data center infrastructures where people are going to be talking within the data center far more than they'll be talking out of the data center, a traditional hierarchical model, a very rigid data center model, simply won't get us where we need to go. We need something, instead of a tree, that's much more like a fabric, where any point in the data center can talk to any other point in the data center with high performance and high availability at any point in time. And that's what we've been working on lately with our VDX technology in the Ethernet fabric space.
So what's driving that communication within the data center right now?
If you think about what a cloud is, right? We start with this notion of a virtualized data center, which largely was a consolidation. How do I try and get more utilization out of a given physical server? And once we've realized that we've done that, we've got the opportunity to be much more elastic and dynamic in how we use that infrastructure once we've got that virtualization layer there. So a traditional data center planning model where I put an application in one location and all of the things it needs to talk to, it talks on its local subnet. As we take advantage of this elastic vMotion applications in different places in the environment, that deterministic model just isn't there anymore. So I need the ability to connect two different points arbitrarily in the network at any point in time, be resilient when they move and shift around in that environment, and still maintain that heavy application performance level that people need. One can think about this as a move away from north-south data center architectures to much more east-west data center architectures.
And how much is the growth in the data center market being driven by just the sheer number of devices that are out there accessing data and applications?
There's a ton of that. I think we've got trends like cloud computing in the public space as well as inside an enterprise environment that are driving consolidation to make much larger data centers with more traffic play. Clearly things like video, the rise of mobile phones, and all of us spending more and more time computing on these devices with richer video-enabled consumption also drives up bandwidth, drives the need for new technologies like 100 gigabit Ethernet, drives the need for more wireless everywhere enabled campus environments. It really is changing just the size as well as the shape of data center networks. And that leads to a different problem that we're increasingly seeing around address exhaustion, the drive towards IPv6. You have heard that thought before.
Sure, and in fact, a fair amount of attention around the recent IPv6 day. Where are we? What's going on with that transition?
Yeah, this is, I think, a fascinating thing, because I'll be honest with you. If you go back 12 months, I was very much an IPv4 diehard. We've all been hearing about IPv6 for a decade. Is this the year of IPv6? Is that the year of IPv6? I remember 2003 was the year of IPv6. It's now 2011. It's a very different time period. But I actually do believe this year is the year of IPv6, and I'll tell you what's changed in the last 12 months. IANA has dispersed its last set of v4 addresses. All of the different regional internet registries are saying they're going to run out by the end of this year. Aaron amongst them. The world is running out of v4 addresses. That's a fact. And when you wrap your brain around that, you say, all right, IPv6 needs to be there to pick up the slack. All of these new mobile devices, not to mention smartphones, smart sensor networks, all of which need addressing, means we're going to consume addresses like we never have before. So in light of that sort of truism, the question is, what do we do about it? That's the v4 diehard who says this will never happen. The problem we've got is there's been a small group of people that I might think of as v6 purists who've been arguing passionately for v6 for the last 10 years. Unfortunately, these people tend to be believers in this almost as a philanthropic cause. You should do it because it's technology, it's the right thing to do, and there's no business case there. What we've been really trying to do lately is focus on a more pragmatic approach to v6. So a CIO or a network director recognizes the need to embrace v6, but needs to get there in pieces. So things like take your public internet presence, make that available on IPv6. That'll enable you to communicate with new consumers who end up with v6 only addressing space. Plus, it helps your organization develop some of the competencies in v6 to get us to an organizational parity level with where we are with v4. I think v6 is going to be a long journey. v4 will be around forever, but this is the year, I think, when people need to a clear plan with consumable projects that they fund as they move into 2012 in their budgeting cycles to get the organization as much as the technology started forward.
Excellent. Well, we certainly look forward to catching up again in a few years to see where we stand. But Keith, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you very much. It's been fun.